Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the Elemental Hero Flame Wingman from S.H.MonsterArts. Now this piece is very special because this is the first Yu-Gi-Oh! GX figure they've made under Tamashii Nations. The other two figures behind me are from Revoltech, so we have the Jaden as well as the Elemental Hero Neos. And yes, I'm a dub fanboy personally, but that's okay. So there is a chance that this figure might be in a slightly different scale in comparison to those guys, but I don't care. I think they were going to look great to each other nevertheless. Now, comparing it to the other figures, it's probably going to be a little bit out of scale. With Jaden, I'm not going to care all that much. But with Neos, on the other hand, maybe. But we'll see. But let's take a look at the box real quick. So we got the ancient Egyptian stuff in the background, which I find pretty silly because this is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. They don't care about ancient Egypt anymore. They're all about like going to different dorms in school and other stuff like that. But it's still Yu-Gi-Oh! So you gotta have it in the background. So you have E-Hero, then I assume Flame Wingman in Japanese. I don't know, I can't read. Then we got all of our little stamps all over here. Then the top, we got a little bit of window cracking so you can get some light in there when you look at it from the other side. Then we got the E-Hero Flame Wingman all written out in English. But I guess they ran out of space, so they just dropped it to E-Hero instead of Elemental Hero, but that's okay. Then on the side, we got one pose. I'm pretty sure it's not the same one as this one. Never mind. This one, is that the same pose as the last one? Yeah, they're just in different colors because you got Burstinatrix, and then we got Avion's part because it's a fusion monster. And then on the bottom, we got him in a completely different pose that looks really sick. And then the back is where we're going to be able to see the figure itself, as well as a couple of different poses in it, as well as an awesome artwork right there. I'm probably not going to do that myself, but it is really cool. I would love to try to recreate that, like, you know, without Photoshop and actually do it in real life. And you can see how the base is going to look on him. So it doesn't look too intrusive in comparison to the other MonsterArts figures. But you can see him with this little flame effect right here. That just looks all so good. This is so exciting. I can't wait to open this. And then in the future, whenever they come out with the Dark Magician, the Stardust Dragon, the Figuarts, Yuki, as well as any other Revoltech monsters, like I know they're doing Junk Warrior and stuff like that in the future. I plan on doing videos on all of those. So if you like Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures, make sure you sub. But without further ado, let's open them up. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? I just recently watched it, and I finished the show sometime last year, I believe, and now they're remastering it. So they're redoing the visuals, they're redoing the audio sound design, I guess. I don't know. I forget what all they're changing in it, but it's mostly a remaster, not a remake, so at least that's nice. But let's slide this open, and wow! Holy crap, you actually get the moon as a backdrop? Oh, that's sick. They didn't have to do that. And I'm so happy they did. Let's, like, slowly, carefully get this tape off. There's residue still there, but the trick to getting that off is get a Q-tip with lighter fluid. And then rub it all off, and then it'll come off easy without leaving any bad residue on the thing itself. So I'm not sure if we're going to use a stand all that much. We'll see. I'll bust it out just to play it safe. But I definitely want to put the box to the side. But again, that background piece, that was such a good touch. I'm so happy they included that. But let's open it up. Let's get a closer look. And we got these little plastic inserts in here so you can like make sure there's no paint transfers and all that stuff. So that's nice. And then his main wing is separate, I guess. They want you to put that on a peg, I guess. Okay, interesting. I don't know why that wasn't on him to begin with, but that's okay. And here he is. So here's a closer look at the Flame Wingman figure himself. Obviously, he looks gorgeous. The paint applications are done really well. The shading looks really good too. With the S.H.MonsterArts other Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures like the dragons, like Red Eyes and Blue Eyes, they were able to hide a lot of the articulation within its scales, but you don't really have that with this here. But in regular S.H. Figuarts style, it all does the joints really well. It looks really good. I'm really happy with how this came out. But moving it and like trying to manipulate it because of this character's design, it's gonna be a little bit clunky, like trying to make sure he moves his arm right and all that stuff because of this giant head right here. But look at that, that looks so cool. I was hoping that the tongue would be a separate piece, just like Blue Eyes and Red Eyes, but the fact that it's not is okay. We do have a few extra hands, so this one's a closed fist, and then we have like a more of a relaxed hand and more of like a I'm coming after you type of hand. I'm not really sure how to really describe that one. But I like it when action figures don't really come with a whole lot of accessories because of the fact they don't need much. Like, I like it when it's simple. But when I see this type of hinge on the shoulder for an action figure, it kind of reminds me of like a cheaper figure from, I don't know, something like Marvel Legends. But then when you see how the legs are designed, that definitely screams like S.H. Figuarts. And then the way I was describing how the articulation's hidden, you definitely see that with the tail. So I'm happy to see that here. It's all just different ball pegs to each other, so it's easy to manipulate without snapping it. And it all holds the position really well with each other, so good job on that. And if it's just like the other MonsterArts figures, you can separate the wings. So if this is on a separate ball hinge, now typically with the red eyes and blue eyes, they were on ball pegs and they're like segmented into 3 different parts per wing. This is on a ball hinge, and it's mainly because these are 2 separate wings, so I'm happy they didn't limit it to you, so like you're still able to freely move these any way you need to. And then we got a nice toe hinge on here as well. Now red eyes got a small toe hinge, but blue eyes didn't. But seeing it here, and it's all mostly flush to each other, you can see the metal pin in there. So if you're looking out for it, then you're probably gonna be disappointed with like it breaking the mold a little bit, but I think it blends in half decently fine. I think it's good. And of course you got your ankle rocker down there, so you can manipulate it the way you need to and make it look good. And he's doing a little blast effect, and then you can pull this piece out, and there it is. I assume it shoots out like that, but yeah, look at that. That looks so cool. I love this. But yeah, this is a pretty good looking figure. Like, even like as an S.H. Figuarts, I guess, like all the articulations there, the ab crunch right there isn't really a whole lot to move, but the bottom has a little bit more freedom, especially towards the back. Then if you want to put him in defense mode, then you can do that. You get him on one knee and then have him kneel, and then I guess have the tail around him, I guess. I don't know. And he can do like a absolute 90-degree split on that foot too, so he can like be kneeling. This is actually really cool. They designed him pretty well. Again, it's a very simple figure for the most part. Like, it's like there's not much to change out. Like, it's not completely overly engineered. Like, it has the necessary like complex articulation that an S.H. Figuarts has. It's just, it's a monster, and it did it really well. Could the articulation on its like upper torso be better? A little bit, but with his top half being so heavy because of his wings as well as his arm, it's going to be hard for him to keep a pose like that unless you want to add some type of tension into that joint right there, which is probably not a good idea. For what I expected out of an S.H.MonsterArts Flame Wingman, this is what I expect, and they did a good job with it. Then you have a stand that can tuck into his butt if you really want to, I think. I'm probably not going to use this too much myself, but I'm happy that it has a simple point of entry when it comes to like posing him and stuff like that. So at least that's nice. Then if you want to balance the wing and everything, you can do that too. But I'm probably not going to use a stand unless I actually display him on the shelf, which unfortunately right now I have no space because this is my Yu-Gi-Oh shelf right now. I'm kind of out of space for more monsters, and I'm sad because I really want to display a Stardust Dragon too when that comes out. So I guess I'll just rearrange monsters every once in a while. Keep it nice, keep it refreshing. So now that I'm done playing with him for now, let's pull out a couple of things to compare it to. So not just the other figures, let's also pull out a card or two. So in this binder, I do have my Yu-Gi-Oh! GX card collection. The first half is going to be like the newer releases from like, I don't know, the Speed Duel sets. But this right here is my childhood Flame Wingman card. Now look at that compared to this. I can absolutely recreate this. I definitely want to try that. But we'll do that a little bit later. Let's compare it to other figures first, and then we'll try to recreate that art. And I know there's other spells that we could try to recreate as well, but we're not going to do that right now. But let's get him in a mostly neutral stance, and then we'll compare him to our boy Jaden. I feel like if you're going to have him in like high, like standing up above him, and like hanging out, then yeah, I think that looks really good. I think that'll make a good match when he's dueling and looking cool. Now, if I get the Elemental Hero Neos, Now, without reposing him, they actually stand really well next to each other. Like, I think the Neos is probably a little bit bulkier, but like scale-wise, they actually stand up half decently well next to each other. Good job on that. That's sweet. I'm pretty confident they weren't communicating with each other when it comes to making these figures. So this is just a shot in the dark, I guess. And they nailed it. Good job. And the finishes are completely different. Like, this is like all glossy and stuff like that, and this is more a matte finish. So it is gonna look a little weird on top of that. But I'm a fan. And of course, if you're gonna have Jaden, you also gotta have your Wing Karibo. Yeah, you gotta have your little Wing Karibo. So is this a solid figure? Absolutely. If you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, like, if you could only have one character between Flame Wingman right here and Elemental Hero Neos that's behind me, I personally like the Neos figure a little bit more, but he is so fun to play with. But this is also a very iconic character. It's hard to choose one between the two. I'm probably going to choose Neos myself, but a Flame Wingman also feels very necessary because you see him as his ace monster for a while until Neos is introduced. So having Flame Wingman not in the collection kind of feels like a disjustice. And plus, Elemental Heroes are so fun. Like, I love the fact that they all fuse with each other, and there's like so many different like types of monsters that you can make, and also different fusion materials you can play with too. Like, so the fun of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, as well as just that era in general, like that fun is capsulated right here. So it's nice to see this as an action figure. It makes me wish that we got other monsters like Avion, Burstinatrix, and all the other Elemental Heroes, but my shelf and wallet, neither of those can handle that. So before we wrap this up, I guess let's try to recreate this art real quick. I think out of the two hands, I want to say it's probably the more relaxed hand right here that we're going to use. So we're going to snap this out, and it's an easy ball peg right there. It's not a mushroom peg, so that's nice. Then it looks like he has one hip in front of the other. If anything, we could probably just move the lower torso as a whole. And we have that pointing out. And this is like mostly rubbery too. So when it goes against the plastic, it doesn't like do any paint transfer or anything. So that's really nice. And then this wing tries to come out. So this tries to come out more this way. And that, and then this just hangs out down below. Let's do the more open hand, because I think that'll probably look better from the angle we're going for. And the wing fell off. Oh no, let's try that again. Then we have the lower half of the tail being more prominent in the photo. Okay. His lower wing can't wrap around the way I need it to, but I think I did a half decent job recreating that. I think that looks pretty good. And that pretty much sums it up for the review. This guy is definitely worth having in the collection. I love him. I think he's really cool. It's unfortunate how heavy his top half is, so I hope that doesn't mess with too many people when it comes to trying to pose this thing. But as long as they're patient and careful, it should be fine. As long as they're not flinging it around like I am, it should be okay. But if you want to grab one of these guys yourself, there will be safe links down below. Some of them being affiliate links, so it does help me out financially. So I appreciate it if you do that. And also don't use honey, because then it kills my affiliate. Then I don't get paid. But anyway, thank you for watching. And if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description is going to be my social media. And I cannot say enough like how cool this is. This is awesome. I'm so happy they made this. And not even just that, like the fact they're making Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters as a whole, like, we had cool action figures back then, but now they're so much better. But let me know in the comments, who do you want to see next? Part of me wants to see a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I would love to see the God cards, but we do have model kits of those now, so I could probably just get those instead. I have no space for them, but I want them anyway. Man, look at that. That's just so cool. I love this. Now I'm curious. Can I stand him up? I want to see if I can keep him standing like that in that position. And if you hear trucks and stuff outside, I apologize. All right, let's see. Can we tuck you in? Oh, goodness gracious. He might be a little bit too heavy for the stand. You might want to tighten up a few screws before you try to pose it, maybe. But the crossing the legs portion, I cannot do properly anymore because of the stand being right at his crotch. And I'm trying to, like, firmly place it, like, firmly grasp it, but it's a little tough. But from what it's looking like, that's, like, the best we're getting. Yeah! Anyway, thank you for watching. I love you guys to death, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. So peace, peace.